Hey guys, this is Martha Black. Welcome to my very first book signing. And I'm so glad that you are here with me, and I want this to be a laid back time where we can have a good time and just enjoy ourselves, but you might learn a little bit more about me and a little bit more about the book. You'll find me at the ocean. So I'm just so glad that you are here. And yeah, my son gave me his iPad, so maybe I could see what's going on because my phone is way over there and I don't think I'm going to be able to see any of the comments. So if you comment and I don't reply back right away, just bear with me. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can get this thing up and running. Hope that you've had a good day. It's been a beautiful day here in Arkansas. Got to see an interesting sight earlier. We have got some bird feeders and some squirrel feeders outside, or actually like the corn on the cob for the squirrels. And we had a squirrel hanging upside down from the bird feeder eating. And by the time that I got to my phone to take a picture, it had already moved, but it was kind of funny to see. I hope that y'all have been able to get out and enjoy the sunshine and enjoy the fresh air. It's, like I said, it's been very beautiful here. We're going to wait a few more minutes for some others to join us before we get started. Hope that y'all are just lounging around and are comfortable, and just want this to be a laid-back time that we can virtually be together. Like I had typed on here before, I had originally, I had one confirmed and one that was about to be scheduled book signing. And I hope that those can maybe take place later on in the future, but at this point, we're not sure when that's going to happen. So we're just going to hang out together, hang out tonight, and make the most of this time. It's different. It's not what I expected for my first book signing, but it is what it is, and we're going to make the most of it. That's what we've got to do with life, isn't it? So I guess I will get started. I'm going to have to put on my extra eyeballs, as my mama used to say. And again, this is You'll Find Me at the Ocean. It can be purchased on Amazon. Or if you would like a signed copy, just message me and I can get with you about our payment, how you want to pay, and I would need your mailing address, but I would love to do that. Anything that I can do to accommodate you guys, I'm more than glad to do that. I see my best friend Charity on here. Hello, Charity. I see my co-worker and my friend, Kendall Williams. Thank you for joining us tonight. I see my cousin, Diane Kreitz. Thank you. You three have been a huge support over the past year, and I just truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. There's been plenty of times along the way that I've been discouraged and didn't know what direction to take next, and y'all have been there and have really been like my cheerleaders as I've gone through this process. So I do appreciate you all from the depths of my heart. I can never thank you enough. So I guess, like I said, I'll get started. I'm trying to include, I signed some books this morning because I had so many. I figured that by the time I signed all of them tonight, you would get bored of watching me sign books. But there's a verse that I'm including and I'm making reference to, and it's 2 Corinthians 1:4. And I've even got on my little handy dandy business card, but I really don't have anybody to give a business card to right now, and that's okay. But he comforts us in all our trouble so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. And that is exactly what I am trying to allow God to do through this book. He comforted me through my grieving journey after losing my mom. You can see her beautiful face over here. He comforted me. He still comforts me on my hard days, because there's still going to be some hard days. But I just want to share that comfort with other people that he's given me. And I know that when I was grieving, during my darkest days, I guess you would say, I wondered if I would ever get to the point of where I am right now. And it's not always perfect. It's not always sunshine and roses. There are hard days. Next month's Mother's Day, that's going to be hard. But he's just been so faithful. And when I'm down, he pulls me up. And that's the same encouragement that I hope that people who read this book will get. So that's just my prayer and my hope. And again, that's 2 Corinthians 1:4. So let's get started. I can't write and talk at the same time. So I may have to go back and add some to this. Give me just a second, and we'll talk some more in just a second. Okay, so that's my first one. Yay! Other than what I did this morning. So instead of just watching me sign books all night, I have found some questions, and I thought we might be fun to go through those tonight. So here we go. Here's the first question. So we'll take a break from time to time. Make it fun, make it interesting. Okay, this says, what is the first book that made you cry? Okay, I'm going to let you think about that too. What was the first book that made you cry? And that's a beautiful thing about books, is it can trigger emotions, whether it be a happy emotion, whether it be sadness. There's so much power in our words. And what is the first book that made you cry? I honestly think that it might have been the book Love You Forever. And that was back when I was in 3rd grade, when God first planted the seed of me even wanting to be an author. And there was just something beautiful that I just felt through that book about how the mother would always rock her child and sing a beautiful song to her child. And then at the end, the son would rock and sing to his mother and then to his baby girl. So that was probably one of the first books that ever really tugged at my heartstrings, is Love You Forever. If you've not read that book, it's a children's book, but it's amazing. Have your tissues ready. It will tug at your heart. It's one of my favorite. I'll tell you what, before I sign this one, I just want to take a minute to read the dedication page. You can see my pretty mama there. I know I'm a little bit far away, but it was taken the same day as this picture right here. It says, "Dearest Mama, you taught me everything I could possibly ever need to learn about living. However, you taught me even more in how you moved on from this earthly life to your heavenly home. Daily, I find you in the blue of the sky and in the path of the butterflies. Most of all, I will always find you at the ocean. Save a place for me. Love, your baby girl." And baby girl was one of the last things that she said to me. She had gone into a deep sleep, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, for about 14 hours. And when I got to the hospital, they, she had come to. I'd gotten back to the hospital, and I asked her if she remembered who I was, and she patted my face and said, she said baby girl to the best that she could. So yeah, and in her last moments, I told her to save a place for me. So that's a little hidden thing in the book there. Let me sign this one. I wish I could hug y'all's necks. know there'll be a lot of hugging going on when all this pandemic is over. Okay, guys, I've got something that popped up on my phone and I've got to tap on it real quick. So hang on. Sorry about that. Gotta love technology. Okay, I'm gonna read another question. I wish y'all were all here. It would be so much better. Okay, do you hide any secrets in your book that only a few people will find? And the safe place for me is a little something. Let me show you some other things that are kind of hidden. This is the actual dirt road that I grew up on in Arkansas. And that's my grandma's mailbox. It says Crikes on it. That was my mom's maiden name. And so there's that little hidden picture there, I guess. And I've shared with y'all before, but this picture is a picture that my son actually took at a butterfly sanctuary the spring break after my mom had passed away. And so I thought that that would just be a neat way to include him artistically, because he's quite talented, into the book as well. And if you didn't know, my cousin is the one that did these pictures, and she did an absolutely amazing job. I think that's the big one. Is the big ones, the butterfly and then the dirt road that I grew up on. Just something special, a way that I can include my childhood in there. Let's find this one real quick. I kind of feel silly. I'm all dressed up and know where to go. But it makes you feel any better. If you're still in your PJs, I didn't really change out of my loungewear, we'll call it, until I started getting ready for this. So if you're still in your PJs, or if you're in comfy clothes and your hair's all a mess, I was there just not that long ago. I'm right there with you. Okay, let's do another question. This says, does your family support your career as a writer? Well, first of all, this is not my career. It's kind of like my side job, I guess. I don't call it a job because I've enjoyed every moment of it. But my family has been very supportive. My husband and son both have really encouraged me along the way. Especially my husband. He's like, I hope this just takes off and it goes far and see my dreams come true. So having their support has meant a whole lot to me. Even though at the moment, my husband's on the tractor doing some work, but kudos to him for being out in the yard working. And my son is doing his own thing. And I'm in the kitchen. So, yeah, if you see a teenager come by, I'm in the kitchen. So they may not physically be in here at the moment, but they have been a tremendous support. I hope that you've got people in your life that are very supportive of your dreams and of your goals and just of you in general. It's so important to have people be supportive. Awkward silence. I need some crickets to start chirping or something. It's so awkward when I'm signing. I'm so sorry. I don't want to mess up. I hope that if you've ordered from Amazon that your book comes in pretty soon. I ordered one for myself, and it's not come in yet, but my shipment of books have come in. And I was talking to my dad, and the same thing has happened with him. So I think when they have to print individual books, it might take a little bit longer. But y'all don't forget that even if you don't buy off of Amazon, that you can still write a review. All you have to do is look at my book, and there's a place where you can write a review. And to those of you that have already done that, thank you so much. I don't know if we really think about it, but even when I'm looking for a book, I look at the reviews, or if I'm shopping for something online, I look at the reviews, and if they have good reviews, I'm more apt to buy it. So that is very important, and I hope it doesn't take you very long, those of you that decide to do that for me, but it does really help me out because, like I've said before, this book has been my therapy for myself, but it's also been so heavy on my heart to get it to people that need it. So it's not about making a bestsellers list or being #1 on the New York Times, or I don't even know how that all works. That's not it. But the more people that can do reviews and can get the word out, the more likely that other people are going to be able to get it in their hands. And we've got so many people that are grieving loss right now. There's been a lot of death through this pandemic. There's also been a lot of grieving of other things. Grieving's not just death. It can be grieving of loss of your hopes and dreams. It could be grieving the loss of a graduation, grieving the loss of interaction with our loved ones. That's so important, and we really took it for granted. So people are grieving so many different things right now, and regardless of what they're grieving, I really do think this book could really help them during this time. So anything that you can do to spread the news, you're going to know that you've been the hands and feet to help get this book where it needs to be. God gave me the words in 3 weeks, so I knew, and I hadn't planned on writing a book. I'd always wanted to write a book starting from when I was 9 years old, but I just wanted to start writing. And then God let it turn into a book. So He's so good, He's so faithful, and I just want this to get into the hands of people that need to be ministered to. And I know God's going to make a way for that. And here's my mug that my mom made. I'm going to move this over here so it doesn't fall. We used to go to a pottery place in a local town, and one spring break she made this. And so it's got daisies on it. She loved butterflies and she loved daisies, hence the name of the blog. And she loved blue. Always loved blue. How have your friends and family made you a better offer? That's a good one. I have I guess you call them a circle of friends. Some friends that I just chose that I thought could give some insight and some feedback while I was writing. And I'm going to give them a quick shout out. There's 5 of them, so I want to be sure I get them all. There's Kari Jobe, Kendall Williams, Kathy Turner, Athena Harrison, and Charity Dawson. They're all teachers, and I felt like they could give some really good insight. And they read my story long before anybody knew it was even happening. And it was just amazing to have people that I could have read it and give me some honest feedback. And I had to really start to become open-minded. This is something that I've learned through this process, is patience, because it took a year. But also being open-minded, because just because it sounds right to me or makes sense to me doesn't mean it's going to make sense to everybody else. And so it was really good to have that circle of friends to kind of bounce ideas off of, and they put a lot of time into it, and so they've got their book coming their way. Wink, wink. pay me, but I was like, no, for everything that you've invested this year, it's the least I can do. So I'm very grateful to all of those that I mentioned. Let's see here. And that might be my husband coming in. So if you hear something, you know, I've got just a regular old life just like y'all do. So don't think anything of it. Okay, let's do another question. Here we go. Do you want each book to stand on its own, or are you trying to build a body of work with connections between each book? So we're just going to assume that if I were to write more books in the future, would I want them to be individual books or maybe books in a series? And my editor is actually the one that first planted this seed in my head, but she was like, you could do a book like this for different loved ones. You know, this one is specifically about the loss of a mother, but I could do one about a loss of a father and a place that you might go to think about that person, because that's where the ocean ties in with this one. I could do it about grandparents, the loss of a pet. It's going to be easier for me to write about ones that I have personally experienced. Like, I am fortunate and blessed enough that I still have my dad, and shout out to him. So that one would be harder for me to write, but writing about grandparents would be hard to write about, but I've been through that experience, so I would have enough content to write about. So that's something that I thought about doing, that my editor first had said something to me about. I've also thought about doing maybe a memoir, I guess, autobiography just about my life. So maybe I've already written this book, and maybe I'll do like a memoir down the line and then continue with this series. I'm just going to let God take the lead. I try to let God take the lead in all areas of my life. I fail miserably, but I do know that when it's what He wants, that it's blessed, and that's what I want from Him. That's what I want to do for Him. So I guess just stay tuned, because I don't know what exactly lies ahead. I would love to do some more writing, but I'm one of these people that if I am truly, deeply, emotionally invested into what I'm writing, it comes out. And if I'm not, it's harder. So yeah, we'll see what God has up His sleeve. Because if you had told me a year ago that God had this up His sleeve, I would have looked at you like, you don't know what you're talking about. Because never in a million years, when I started writing just this story, just for myself, a year ago, that it would be a done deal, published out there for the world to read, for me to be signing, having a virtual book signing since I couldn't see y'all in person. Like, I never could have seen any of this coming, but God did. And I'm just grateful to Him that He sees fit, that He trusts me to do this. And I hope that I do this book justice. I hope that I do God justice through everything that I do for Him during this process. Just never ever doubt God's faithfulness, because He's so faithful, and He throws in some surprises sometimes, and good surprises. So if you're having a hard time right now, like a lot of people are, just hang in there. I know everybody's saying that, but God's going to get us through this, and there's going to be some silver linings to all of this, because God can turn what the enemy meant for evil, and He can turn it around for good, only like God Himself can, because man can't do that, but God sure can. And aren't you glad for that? seriously feel like I need to have crickets chirping when I'm signing. And that's okay. I appreciate y'all being here with me tonight. It means the world to me. It feels odd doing it this way, but it would probably feel uncomfortable doing it in person too, because this is something I've never done. Let's do another question. Keep on forgetting that I moved it from the side over to here. Let's read. Upside down. Does writing energize you or exhaust you? That's a good question. I would say writing energizes me, because usually when I'm writing, whether it be my book or whether it be on my blog or just in general, it's something I'm passionate about. So it kind of gets my adrenaline going, gets it just kind of gets me going, because I'm either excited about what I'm writing about, or it just triggers some deep emotion. Were there times when writing this was difficult? You better believe it, because I had to go back and relive a lot that I went through, but I do think in a way it was good for me to do that. And I've learned to let go of some of the pain that I was still hanging on to, and I gave it to God. So writing is healing for me. It's therapy for me. It's getting my thoughts out. But even professionals say, like, if you journal, if you write about what you've been through, that it helps you. And I can understand that, because when you're grieving, you have so many different emotions going on all at once, and you just kind of want to shut down because it's too much. And when you're writing it down, you're processing all the different things that you're feeling, whether you're angry, whether you have regret, all those different things. So even if you don't feel like you'll write a book in the future, although I believe God can give a book to anybody if he gave one to me, but even if you don't see yourself doing that, I do believe that journaling could be beneficial, just even through these times that we're facing right now that are so hard for so many different levels. I do believe that journaling and writing could be beneficial. So for me, writing overall energizes me and does not exhaust me. That's not everybody though, because I have seen people, especially kids at school, that it's just hard. It's hard to write, and to write your thoughts and to have them make sense. So it just depends on what type of personality you have. And for me, it energizes me. And those of you that have already, that I've contacted you to let you know that I've received your payment, I plan on taking your shipment of your books to the post office on Monday. Not sure if it'll be morning or afternoon. So you should be getting your signed copy. If I've already gotten your payment, you should be receiving that early next week. And if you're one of my people that are in my close circle that have helped me along the way, yours will be in the mail at that time as well. And for those of you that are just joining, when I'm signing these, I'm adding the reference to 2 Corinthians 1:4, and it's on my beautiful business card that my publisher created. Shout out to Michael Young. He's done a fabulous job with my books, my bookmarks, my business cards. He's done great. But it's kind of been my verse, my anthem, I guess you could say, through this whole process. And it's, he comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. So I'm just trying to turn my pain and my story and my healing, my journey, into something that can encourage and help other people along the way, because we've all grieved a loss. We've grieved a lot of losses in our life, I'm sure. unfortunately how it's going to be here on earth. We live in a fallen world, but one day we won't be in a fallen world anymore. And many people are saying it, but every day we're getting closer and closer to the return of Christ. And I just encourage you to have that relationship with Him, and for you to feel confident that if something were to happen to you, that you know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that you'll be standing in the presence of Jesus. And if you don't know what that's all about, I would be more than glad to talk you through that. Feel free to message me, and it would be an honor to talk to you about that and to pray with you, because as Christians, that's our ultimate goal in this life, is to be the hands and feet of Jesus and reach as many people as we can and just tell them about the good news of Christ and what He did for us and how we can have hope and eternal life. So, people get ready, as an old song used to say. People get ready, Jesus is coming. Soon we'll be going home. Going home. Keep on pulling these out upside down. What do you owe the real people upon whom you base your characters? What do I owe them? Wow. So, my main character in my story is a little girl named Beth, inspired by myself and my life. And there's Mama. And that's the focal relationship and the people in the story. There's others, but that's the focal. And so, what do I have to owe my mother? That's deep. I owe her everything. She was my rock. She was my cheerleader, my #1 fan. If I needed something, she was there. And I know that not everyone has been as fortunate as I was to have that kind of relationship with their mother. And so I try not to take that for granted. Although I was 34 when she passed away, and sometimes I wonder, why are there other people who are older than me that still have their mother? But sometimes we're not going to have our questions answered, and that's okay. I owe my mom everything. Was she perfect? No. Just like me, I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. But she taught me so much about what it looks like to be selfless, what it's like to put your family first. I'll try not to tear up. She taught me what it's like to be a mom. She taught me everything I needed to know. The one thing that she couldn't teach me and prepare me for was what this whole book's about, and that was about her passing away. There's no way that she could have prepared me for that. But in the way that she passed, she taught me so much in those moments, even though she couldn't tell me with her words. She taught me what it's like to be ready to go to meet Jesus. She taught me what it's like to just She taught me what it was like to be ready. Moments before she passed away, I told her that we would be okay. And she needed to hear those words. And by me feeling led to say those words, and by her about to go, about to pass away, and me saying those words, at the time, I feel like I was just going through the emotions. I wasn't going to be okay. I was lost without her. I didn't know once she passed away, I didn't know how I was going to put one foot in front of the other. The world should have stopped. It should have stopped turning, and it did not. But by me saying those words, eventually, and it's taken a long time, I've been able to keep that, to be able to know that in that moment, maybe I didn't know if we would be okay, but now we are okay. There's still a void. There's an emptiness in our hearts and in our lives, and there will be until the day that we draw our last breath. But I feel like we're to a point where we're okay. And I hope that I hope she knew what a difference she was going to make even long after her life was gone. She's been gone almost 4.5 years. And just a day or two before she passed, I told her, I said, what you're going through is not in vain. And then look here. God's allowed me to keep that promise to her. She's going to be helping people. God, through her, through our story, she's still going to be helping others. And to top it all off, it's fulfilling a childhood dream, which Mama would have loved. And on top of that, there's a poem that my mom wrote to me, and it's in there too. So my mom's a published author now too. So what the enemy meant for evil, I mean, listen to all of the good that God has been able to bring through all of this. The enemy meant it for evil, and it's been hard. But God's just amazing how he works. So amazing. And I know I wish y'all were all gathered around my table right now and we could all share our testimonies of how God's been faithful and how he's helped us through different times. We've all been through different things, but God's been faithful through it all. Like that old song, through it all. This doesn't feel right without my best friend being here. Charity Dawson. Shout out to my best friend. She's supposed to be the one that's making my table pretty, and I told her that she was going to be my opening act once we start. Notice I said we, Charity. Once we start going around and speaking, she's going to be my opening act. She has got, I don't say act, I guess I shouldn't say that, but she has got testimonies like crazy, like you wouldn't believe the things that God has brought her and her family through. So when all this stuff is over, we're going to speak, and we are not going to be scaredy cats, are we, Charity? Remind me of my words when it comes down to it, okay? Deal? Thanks. And I told her she'd be my security guard too. She could be my chauffeur. She could drive me there. You better get ready, Charity, because God's going to be opening some doors when all this pandemic business is over. So you better buckle up and be ready. And plus, we can have some girls' time on our way to and from. So it's going to be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see some others have joined. I think I see Brandy Robinson and Linda Green. Shout out to y'all. Linda Green actually lives on the road that I grew up on. So we were neighbors my whole time growing up. So that's awesome. Thank you, Linda, for being on here. I know that first picture of the road is going to be super duper special to you. And Brandy, thank you for joining us as well. She teaches at my school, which is, we're adapting to changes right now through all this pandemic. But good to see you on here, Brandy. Let's do another question. We think it's going to be upside down again? Lo and behold, what did I do? What is your favorite childhood book? What is your favorite childhood book? I want you to be thinking about that too. What's your favorite childhood book? If you want to comment, I'll read those later when I'm closer to it. I know I've got the iPad here, but I'm afraid I'll mess up on it if I get on the iPad. So what was your favorite childhood book? It could be from when you were real young. It could be when you were a teenager. Throw out some titles for me. What were some of your favorite childhood books? Mine would probably be The Giving Tree. And it's a super simple book by it's either Silverstein or Silverstein. I think it's Silverstein. I'm always afraid I'm going to mess it up. I fell in love with that book when I was in 3rd grade. You know, I'm just making the connection. I just got chill bumps. So I started wanting to be an author when I was in 3rd grade. I fell in love with the book, Love You Forever. I fell in love with the book, The Giving Tree, all the same year. So those, along with my amazing teachers encouraging me along the way, helps pave the way for sure. My 3rd grade teacher was Mrs. James, and my 4th grade teacher was Mrs. Taff. They really, that 3rd and 4th grade year really was when that passion to write began. And I may have told y'all this before, but my first poem I ever wrote, it's an embarrassment. I wish I could find it somewhere though, in my handwriting. I don't remember all of the words, but it was about a guy named Joe, and he only had one toe. I think I had some issues coming up with words that rhymed. There was a happy ending, but poor Joe just had one toe. Poetry is what became my first passion, but then after that, I wanted to be a children's author and illustrator. I was a pretty good artist in 3rd and 4th grade. The problem is I never got any better. I still draw like a 3rd or 4th grader. As a teacher, I guess that's okay, but to illustrate a book, that would not be too cool, I don't think. So, anyways, I signed another book. Tell you what, before I sign this one, I want to take a moment to read the poem that my mom wrote to me years ago, and I can't remember, I wish I could remember the date. It was either when I was running for State Beta Club Secretary, which I spoke in front of like 2,000 people, so God was helping me get ready to speak in front of people even then, or if it was the day of my wedding. I can't remember which one, so there's not a date on it. But yeah, my mom wrote this, so I want to share it. Honey-colored baby curls once framed an angel's face. Now I look at you almost grown, a lady in that baby's place. Once Grandpa Buddy's fishing pal and Grandma's special girl. Now you stand so beautiful, so proud, prepared to face the world. I miss the child that you once were, but I love the woman you've become. Your sweet, kind, and loving ways will help you as you grow to be the person you must be, and I must let you go. Be strong, be kind, keep God in your heart, and know no matter where you go, I will always be here for you. Your mama loves you so. So it's priceless to have the things that she wrote, along with scrapbooks that she made. And when she was alive, I didn't think too much of it, but now it's so priceless. So anything that you can handwrite and make for your family, it's going to mean so much. Hopefully way, 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 way down the road when we're gone. But yeah, it means a lot to have those things now. See, this would be the time when we'd be chit-chatting if you were here. Oh, fun times. And something that I'm going to put inside the books is I made some labels, and it just says, please don't forget to leave a review on Amazon. And that would mean the world to me if you could do that. Let's do another question. I keep looking over there for my mug. Is it going to be upside down again? Yeah. And you're probably hearing the ice maker from the refrigerator right now. So, like I said, you're in my kitchen. There's no telling what you're going to see, what you're going to hear, but we're just at home. If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would it be? If I could tell my young, aspiring author self, what would it be? It would probably be simply keep writing. I got to a point in life where I won't say I gave up, but I guess I went from wanting to be an author and an illustrator to a teacher, which still had to deal with kids. And I love my babies and I miss my babies. But I kind of gave up on it, I guess. I just quit writing. It wasn't until the beginning of 2019 when I started blogging again. And then God blessed me with the words to this book. So I just wish that I would have kept writing more. That's what I would tell my younger self. What would you tell your younger self? What would be some good advice that you could tell your younger self, or just this younger generation that's coming up? I'd like to see some advice. You might have some advice that I've not necessarily thought to tell my own son. I'm always afraid I'm going to write my maiden name. The other day I did that because my maiden name started with a B. It was Boggs. And so, yeah, just out of the blue, I wrote my maiden name. And I've been married for 16 years, and I was like, where did that come from? Hey, Hannah, my cousin Hannah. So good to have you on here. She is my baby cousin, but she's not so baby anymore. She's got 3 not so babies of her own now. Time sure does pass, but I think she'll really enjoy this book too. We have a lot of good memories on the road that we grew up on. Many, 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 many good memories. Back in the day. We're old enough we can say back in the day, Hannah. What I'm doing is I've got some questions and I'm just going through and answering. So that way you're just not staring at me signed books. I think every single one of these has been upside down. I guess that's just kind of how I'm feeling today. What is your writing kryptonite? Your writing kryptonite. Now remind me. Now, Superman, it's been a while since I've watched Superman. Kryptonite was the bad stuff, right? Was kryptonite the stuff that made, that's not Batman, Superman, whichever superhero. That's kind of day I'm having. Did the kryptonite weaken Superman? I'll wait and see if someone can comment. Because if the kryptonite was the bad stuff, so I guess that would kind of be like what causes writer's block, maybe? I hope I'm not getting this wrong. I think mostly it's just being busy, which right now, okay, thank you, yes. Okay, so the kryptonite was the bad stuff. Thank you. I had a brain freeze, I guess. So what would be my writing kryptonite? Okay, like I was saying, it's probably like being busy, being tired. Right now, it's just a different kind of busy and a different kind of tired than than when I was actually physically in the classroom. That would probably be my kryptonite, is just being busy. So maybe during this time that God's kind of slowed the pace of some things down a little bit, maybe I could do some more writing. You never know. Like I said, a year ago, if you told me this was going to happen, I would have said, don't know what you're thinking. Just visit amongst yourselves, okay? That would be fun if we could just visit amongst ourselves, like a Zoom. I need to do a Zoom call with some of y'all. I have with Charity. Hannah, if you have Zoom, that might be something we need to do. That would be great. And Diane, if you know how to use Zoom, I just learned not too long ago. The Zoom is amazing. You can have like several people on there at once visiting. I do that with some coworkers, and we do a devotion. It's like the most amazing thing ever. So thank you to all those people that make technology. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Every time I start to sign this, I'm writing "May God bless you," and then I'm adding some other stuff on there. Have y'all heard the new song by Kari Jobe? Like, it's amazing. It's called "The Blessing," and it's from the verses about the Lord bless you and keep you, make His face shine upon you. It is like, I can't get it out of my head. It's like the most amazing song I've heard, and it's so appropriate for the time that we're going through and the times that we're facing, because, you know, God's still blessing us. He's still shining His face upon us, even during these troubling times. God hasn't gone anywhere. He's still on the throne. He's still with us. And I just love that song. And there's one part, what's it say? May His favor be upon you for 1,000 generations, for your family, for your children, and their children, and their children. And it talks about, may He go before you, and behind you, and beside you, all around you, and within you. Y'all need to look it up. It's amazing. I may, if I remember, I may post a link after a while. It's called "The Blessing," and it's by Kari Jobe. I promise you'll be blessed by it. It's amazing. But every time I'm writing "May God bless you," that song comes to my mind. I love music. Music, other than writing, music is probably one of my biggest therapies too. Just praising, and just, because sometimes we don't have the words of how we're feeling, but someone's written a song that expresses those exact feelings and emotions that we're feeling. So music is amazing. And music has words. You know, the songs have words. The books have words. Words are powerful. Aren't they, Charity Dawson? She always talks to me about how our words are powerful, and that's so very true. So very true. Again, 2 Corinthians 1:4 is like my verse. It's about comforting others with the same comfort that you have received. I'm able to see a little bit from here. Yes, power of the tongue. Yes, ma'am, Charity. Let me tell you, you need a friend, like a Charity Dawson friend. She's not up for grabs. I'm keeping her. But you need a friend like Charity Dawson, but not Charity Dawson. She's not giving her up. No, I'm just kidding. I would share her, but I can't share her with anybody right now. But anyways, I digress. Sorry about that. But you need a friend like Charity Dawson. You really do. She has been, I'm telling you, if it hadn't been for her, I don't know if I would have written this book. I really don't know. She has challenged me, and she has pushed me, not physically, But she's pushed me, and not intentionally, but just to have a deeper relationship with God. Like, she's got such a strong prayer life, and she knows the word. And when you're around somebody like that, it challenges you, like, hey, I should be having a better prayer life. I should be having more time in God's word. So you need to find someone like Charity. She's amazing. And I love you, Charity. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're getting a few minutes to get on here. I know that your time is precious, but you being on here means the world to me. We're almost through, I promise. My last question. Here we go. Oh, and it's right side up. Yeehaw! There we go. How long on average does it take you to write a book? I think I've already shared this, but it took me about 3 weeks to write the book. About 3 weeks. Now, the rest of the process took a long time, but actually the words that God gave me in me writing only took about 3 weeks. But the process of finding an illustrator and corresponding about which pictures will work best with which pages. Shout out to Jennifer Hartman, my illustrator, by the way. That takes a while because you have a vision in your mind, and then you're trying to tell them and reveal to them kind of what you're seeing, and it's hard when it's in here and you're trying to use your words to describe it. But she did a great job, and it took me a while to find the editor, Kim Evans. Shout out to you, great job as well. My publisher, I've already shouted him out, but Michael Young, amazing. It was just a long process, and letting my friends, my little circle of friends, read what I had written and getting their feedback. It's a process. It really is. But I can honestly say it took me about 3 weeks to write it. And it didn't take me. God gave me the words. I've got chills still just thinking about it, because I would be writing or typing, whatever stage I was at the time, and when I would get through, I would go back and read it, and I was like, did I just write that? Did I just type that? Like, where did that come from? But we all know where it came from. It came from God. I'm going to finish signing these after a while. I so wish y'all were here, but I'm so glad that you came virtually. It beats nothing. You got to make the most of your situation. It gave me an excuse to get out of my pajamas and to fix my hair. It just gave me an opportunity to, get excited. My husband just walked in. Everybody say hello. He's getting water. Goodbye. He's just smiling and laughing. Thank you for coming to my book signing.
You're welcome.
You gotta come back some other time so you can stay longer. Bye. Oh, you gotta make the most of it, don't you? Anyways, I wish I were here. I really do. Oh, and I forgot to say something. Those of you that are getting a signed copy from me, you are getting a complimentary bookmark. And it's like one of the sturdiest bookmarks I've ever felt in my life. And I'm a teacher, so that's saying a lot. If you would like a pencil or a pen, I can get those to you as well if you would like that. If you do order a book from me, I hope I figured it up all correctly, but $18.75 is what it is for shipping, as well as the book, and you're getting a complimentary bookmark. And I know I've said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. Those of you that have left a review, you don't have to be a verified, it does not have to be a verified purchase on Amazon for you to leave a review. So you can get the book from me, you can read it, and if you want to get on there and leave a review, it means the world, because Anybody that's ever shopped on Amazon, we look at the ratings and we look at how many stars they were given. So far, I've got all 5 stars. I've only had 4 reviews, but shout out to those that have done that, and it all is glory to God. It's not my doing. So God always gets 5 stars in our book. Well, he gets more than 5 stars. He's got all the stars. Yeah. He's awesome. Can't praise him enough. Can't do enough for him. So yeah. I hope that you've enjoyed being with me tonight. I know it's been a little interesting at moments, but it was fun. It's something I'll remember. When I was setting this up and setting the table up, I know you can't see everything, and what you can see that's written is backwards. I don't know how to fix that. But I felt like a little girl that was playing house or playing dress up, using their imagination, just kind of creating something that's out of the ordinary. So it's been fun. And I hope my mama is in heaven knowing that she's reaching others even through eternity. From our story, from what she went through, God's going to do amazing things, and he gets all the glory, he gets all the credit. And I can't wait until this pandemic is over for so many reasons. First of all, so we can all get back to normal, and for people to not be at risk of being sick or even worse, dying. But when we find our new normal, I hope that we will just be so on fire for the Lord that there's going to be no stopping us. There's going to be no thoughts of fear. And if there are, we're going to fight them with everything within us with God's help. I just pray that we'll just be an army on fire for the Lord when this is all said and done. I think we've all got a new perspective on life. We've got a new perspective on worshiping with others. I know personally in what I feel is my calling, speaking to others about grieving, it's been a little scary, the thought of getting up in front of a large group of people and sharing, and compared to not being able to do it at all right now, that fear's nothing. It's got nothing. So once things get back to our new normal, I just pray that we'll all be on fire for the Lord, and we'll do whatever God's calling us and telling us to do. Whatever he's telling you to do is different than what he's telling me to do. And you know what? That's all right. Because if we're all doing the same thing, then who's going to do all the others? And never ever think that what God's telling you to do and what God's calling you to do is any less than what anybody else is doing, or any better than what someone else is doing, because it's all important in the eyes of the Lord and in the work of the kingdom. So I thank you again for being here. I will be mailing out my first set of books on Monday for those of you that I have received payment from. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate y'all's love and support more than I could ever express. And to God be the glory, and I love and miss you, Mama. Look at what we did with God. Hope I'm making you proud. Y'all have a blessed night.